I'm John, and I'm joined by Howard. Basically, this is a response to a lot of things, including a video posted by one Philium 2 days ago.
So what we tried to do here...
First question from Eric. He says, Phil, I admire your honesty and hope you can answer my question since you're quite open about this. I know you'll probably get this a lot, but what's up with you and John Rambo? Did you have a falling out? Is it because you two were far away? I'd like to hear your thoughts on the matter. Thank you.
And I should have said, I have nothing to say on the matter. It's a private matter. If we ever decide to talk about it publicly, we will. And that's that. Here's what I did do.
The bottom line is this. I will be completely 100% honest with you. And, you know, people will...
I say that a lot. I'm going to be completely 100% honest with you.
You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of the big risk that you take when you go into business with someone.
And what I just said, oh, maybe 1-2 times we had a disagreement.
So I am completely in the dark in this situation. What ended up happening...
Almost 100% true. I'm going to call out my own bullshit here.
And then all of a sudden, once I moved, it was like, that's it. Well, Phil's gone, so now he's out of our lives. It almost feels like to me like they're saying, well, he abandoned us. You know, we used to do all this fun stuff together. He's not here anymore, so now we're mad at him or something.
So, wow. Pretty messed up what I'm saying in this video. All right, for multiple reasons. First of all...
So... That's why people want to start all this fucking shit, right? All this drama and controversial shit. They must have had a disagreement about money. Phil must have revealed something really personal or something. Nothing.
Which is hilarious because that's exactly what happened. That was one of the reasons why John was mad at me, is because of that text conversation we had, and I had revealed some of the information about that conversation to the public. He even yelled at me for it. I apologized. And now here I am saying, oh, that never happened. Great. Really transparent there, Phil, you fucking asshole.
Ever happened. At least from my side, if you are a man, you will speak up about an issue. You will not let it linger and resent and build and fester into some kind of a negative thing where you don't want to talk to someone again, and then you're going to even, at some points, talk shit about them and stuff. See, I would never do that, because I have no reason to talk shit about people who I have always had a great relationship with. So for me, I have no clue if there's any negativity, any resentment. I have no idea, and I'm still in the dark to this day.
Now, before we continue, wow. 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 This is how you don't talk about your friends, right?
Yeah. So, you know, there you go. And
there you go.
Things like people really want to know why we don't do anything with him anymore. And he himself oddly is saying that he wants to know why, you know. But that video that he put out, I think, is a perfect example of why.
Now, okay. Fair enough. Touche, he's right. Okay? I'm not saying that they were wrong to do it. I'm just saying that's what happened. And because they said nothing, it boiled to a point where people absolutely demanded answers. Personally, I was ready to move on from it, but people were all over me every day about this. So it kind of boiled to that point where finally I'm doing an Ask the King, and I basically made that segment that should never have been made. Completely incorrect that I did that. Okay.
You know, so if you really like examine it, it's a video he puts out on Thanksgiving Day, which I don't really understand. And last year Thanksgiving, he decided to unfollow me.
Okay, now.
Not only did he unfollow, the way I noticed it was when I was on Twitter. I looked at his people that he was following, and he unfollowed both of us. And
yeah.
there was no really no rhyme or reason to it, which I thought was, I think that was the first shot.
I just explained the rhyme or reason.
I'll be honest with you.
It's weird stuff, like especially when you work and you work hard and stuff. You look forward to certain days off, and like Thanksgiving is a certain day, like with your family and whatnot. And then like to do these things on Thanksgiving, it sounds silly. It is just a day, but you're showing no concern, like, for the other person. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to cause shit. Like, suddenly you get inundated with messages.
So here we go. It's Thanksgiving.
There's going to be a lot of things talked about, you know, and again, we're not here, and we just want to reiterate this. We are not here to defame anyone. This is just to let people know our side of the story, because people have a tendency to just view one thing and not look at it from another way, and trying to understand the other party's view on it.
And I'm not angry.
I agree with Howard.
Like, I don't know about you. Like, I'm not angry with the guy. We've said before publicly, like, we wish him the best, don't wish him any ill. You know, I hope he, like, makes a ton of cash and has a great life, man. You know?
Yeah.
Why would I not feel that way? What is it? How does that affect me?
Yeah, and going back to what we were saying before.
There's a weird running pattern in this video as well, where John basically says, I just wish everyone the best, everyone rich and famous and make money and do well. How does that affect me? He doesn't just say it about me, he says it about others too. And we're going to get, that's coming up actually, but let's continue.
I don't make money off.
You know, a circle of trust amongst friends, Howard. Do you believe in such things with people?
No, I wholeheartedly believe in that. And that's why I'm a little ticked off about this, because...
Howard, why are you ticked off? Okay. By the way, I need to split the part soon, probably another 10 minutes.
You know, it's one of those things where, like, you know, you can't even trust him in terms of, like, sending a message, like a text message, because you don't know if that's going to get publicly put on, like, YouTube.
Howard. Hello, Howard. You never sent me a text message outside of one or two, which will be addressed in this video, okay? In what he's saying, as if it happened to him. It didn't. This is John he's talking about. John, we would text back and forth. John was the one who I should not have, and I revealed some private information on one of my streams. Not Howard. But he's talking like it's him. It's not. This is a complete misrepresentation of the situation that happened to try to make me look worse, and I don't appreciate it. I just don't. You can say I'm bad because I did bad things, and here's the bad things. He's saying I did things to him that never happened. Okay?
Or if he's going to make a video about it. Because it's something, you know, if I send you a message, I don't expect you to the next day or 2 days later or whatever make during your regular vlog sessions,
I didn't.
You go ahead and you publicly read the message.
That happened once with John, not you.
That's a great point, because like what we're going to be doing today is kind of maybe revealing some things, and I've kind of really held against doing that, because it does make you in a sense a hypocrite to be doing the same thing that has caused you pain or caused you to be pissed off.
Now, you guys might give them a hard time for this. You may not. You say, well, it's true. They were angry at Phil for doing this, right? Then why did they make the video? Okay? There's a lot of theories on this.
And the thing that's like, another thing that's sad about it is no one listens to this kind of stuff, and then, or listens to like him talk about us or us talk about him, and then goes, oh, these guys are fucking cool. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
It's disgusting stuff. It's sad. It's not. You're not creating content. It's freaking garbage content for the bottom of the barrel, man, and it's what it is. But you get dragged into it.
Why do you think I avoided doing this for 6.5 years?
You know. So, getting back to his video, it's really full of what's, as I said, it's an example of the problem itself. It's full of what's been a long history of him saying things publicly, out of turn, exaggerating things. Or just saying shit that's just not true.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna split the video here. Okay.
He's making money off the work we did for him every single day.
Mm-hmm.
He's still finding new ways to monetize us.
Well, not today.
Based on that video.
Not today, John. Maybe up to this point, but not today. If I was gonna do this react, there was no way I was gonna monetize it. For good reason. Like I said, that's the major point he says. No, not monetizing this whatsoever. And it's too important. It's too important to monetize. It really is. Okay.
Video and other things that go on.
Yeah, pretty much.
And by the way, again, running theme money.
So anyway, I really have to ask you guys, okay? I really have to ask you guys the following, all right? Can we hit 450 members this month? Realistically, can we hit it? All right? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to announce to you what we're doing for the members goal for this month. All right? Since it was so successful, all right, the members goal is absolutely going to be tied to DSP Reacts. It just makes sense to keep going with the wave of popularity that the show has right now. The first show was very successful. This next one that's coming up, you guys are successful. Okay? Okay. Now, here's what it's going to be. If we hit the members goal for May, all right, we are going to have a series of videos for you guys to choose from.
Now, I had another idea. Now, those are the two ideas I had so far with Spoonie in this Temple OS video. Okay? The other idea I had, I could react, finally, 7 years later, to
what Rambo and Howard said about me back in 2015. So, that's an idea too. So to recap, my ideas for a members goal for May could be to react to a couple videos,
or it could be reacting to the video, audio, John and Howard recording.
That being said, those are my ideas. So let's recap. React okay? Or react to the recording of John, Rambo, and Howard from 2015 that I've never actually publicly addressed before fully, and go through it. Do you guys think any of those are good enough to hit 450 members?
Because it seems that the money was more important than us being his friend.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you feel.
Yeah.
I'm sad that they feel, I'm really sad that they feel that way.
In that video, he says, this is the Thanksgiving video I'm talking about. He says,
we just watched.
He says they talked shit about me. I don't know if you caught that part.
I didn't say that.
Put out Pay Me Tons parody, right?
Yep.
Hi,
here it is.
My name is John, and I'm special because I upload videos to the internet. But being so important does have its dark side. In fact, it means that my life is much more difficult than everyone else's. While you're following the average path of working a traditional job, attending school, or perhaps both, I'm following my dreams and busting my ass. Talking over video games, posting breakfast pics, and vlogging about movies that I hate. Creative things. And as we all know, creativity is fueled by pure cash. This is why I've opened a Pay Me Tons account. It's an internet website that allows people like me to receive lots of creativity from people like you. Simply log in and transfer the entirety of your bank account into my Pay Me Tons account. I won't even get out of bed for less than $50. And then together, we'll make sure that the world, well, my world, is a much more creative place.
I'm not sure where we talk shit about him. I mean, we made that Pay Me Tons parody that says Dark Side in it. But I'm not sure where we talk shit about him, okay? Now, for the record, I think this is funny. I do. I laugh at this. I think this is fucking hilarious, okay? Now, personally, I didn't take this as a direct insult. And they're actually going to talk about that. So let's continue. Let's switch back over here. Okay. Here we go.
And it's a parody, man. I've done parodies in the past. Just to give you
It's a parody that has my name in it.
a little idea, I've done parodies about machinima. I did a YouTube parody where YouTube was a talking vagina robot that ran YouTube.
His parodies in the past, Machinima, the partner network that everyone knew that I was with for the longest period of time, YouTube, the website that I put videos on for a living. You see the running pattern here? Oh, I've done parodies in the past. Oh, by the way, every parody just happens to also be related to Phil. What a coinky-dink, right? What a shocking coincidence that they all actually are related to things that have to do with Phil. Those others didn't name drop me, though. This one did. Okay.
I've done GameStop, you know, etc., etc. Comes out, man.
Oh, and you missed that. He said GameStop. Okay.
People get a little crazy about it. So 2 weeks later, you know, you and I were on doing the show, and we explained it wasn't singling him out. You know,
has my name in it.
It was about many things, and not necessarily in a hateful manner. Like, I think you can make fun of something.
That I agree with.
And really not feel negatively about it at all, actually.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Like Saturday Night Live, you know, Phil Hartman would dressed as Bill Clinton, I don't think he wanted to assassinate the president.
Very, very bad analogy. Okay.
But it's not, again, I think it's hard to say it's directly about one person.
Except this is dark side in it.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. The whole thing was about that, the Patreon website. You know?
And now here comes Howard with a little segment I like to call Howard Deflects. Because this is going to happen many, many times during this video. Let's see how Howard can deflect this one off of them doing something wrong.
What people do, and you know, and then what it is too. It's when you look at it, it's to basically shed light on some of the negativity that revolves around that site, and not only that site, but Kickstarter. Look at all the shenanigans that has transpired in the past like few years, where people like raise up all this money, promise a product, and then basically everyone's SOL. They took the money and people are fucked. You know, look at what happened with, you know, look at the disaster that Inafune is going out with that Mighty Number 9. That's still not out.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that one. Looking for it, hopefully it comes soon.
Howard feels that a Pay Me Tons parody about Patreon, the content of which directly name drops me, makes fun of someone who basically is a content creator who does video content like playing games, commenting over food, etc., and asking for monetary compensation for said work, is the equivalent of a Kickstarter campaign where a company does not provide a product for a contractual basis that is agreed to in said campaign for fundraising. Intentions, it's not even equivalent. It's like apples and oranges. Massive deflection and an epic fail of a deflection right there.
So people make promises and they don't, you know, go through with them, and that's basically what the parody was about, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, I hate,
had nothing to do with Kickstarter.
I hate people that use it or something. No, I really, honestly, if everyone on there, hope you, like, everyone gets $1 million a month.
Yeah.
Like, what, it doesn't affect me in any way.
John, if you say things like, I hope that everyone out there makes $1 million a month, it doesn't affect me, then why are you saying it? If it doesn't affect you, why are you saying it? Because it affects you. Listen, I'm guilty of this too. Why do I sometimes name drop other content creators that are bigger and more successful than me? Because I'm jealous. That's why. Yes, I'm jealous of PewDiePie. Yes, I'm jealous of Markiplier. They're rich. I'm not.
But again, my main thing was like looking around YouTube and seeing that no one has done a parody of this, which is interesting.
No one ever made a parody of Patreon, according to John here. Okay.
Because, you know, people want to have one, they don't want to make fun of it or something, or, you know, or they'll be called a hypocrite if they have one or something. So I felt like, I could get away with making fun of this thing, because I'm not looking to really make money on this, or really have the option.
I'm not really looking to make money, or I don't really have the option. It's all in the way he says it. It's not that he doesn't wish that he could make money. He doesn't have the option to do it. And that's why he's making parodies about Patreon, people trying to make a living doing it. He doesn't feel he could be successful doing it. He says it right there.
Yep.
So I put it out, and here's a little secret for you. I don't really matter that much on YouTube. It's not a video that got 1 billion views.
Now here we go. Now he's downplaying himself on you. Oh, I'm not popular on YouTube. This is again going with his narrative. I can't make a living doing it. It's okay for me to make the parody. He's punching up essentially, is what he's saying. Okay.
Can you really say it affected you in a negative way?
Yes.
And despite all that,
yes, I was mass messaged by people constantly. Phil, why did John insult you? Phil, are you weird? John insulted you?
We came out and said it wasn't directly about him. We wished him the very best, and just said we're not going to be part of his stuff.
Nope,
and,
that didn't happen.
After the Pay Me Tons video came out, he publicly said, if John does a skit making fun of Patreon, it doesn't mean he's talking shit about me.
Absolutely correct. I said that.
I'd like to know.
Yeah.
Where was the shit talk?
Right.
It's like one of those things where
I didn't say you should. You should talk to me. I never said it. We just watched the video. I said if I was in that situation, I wouldn't shit talk. I didn't say you did. You can say there's an insinuation there, but that's a jump. And no, I wasn't saying that they had shit-talked me. They are feeling guilty about this Pay Me Tons video all year long because people said, hey, you basically insulted Phil with this. And now they're projecting that onto me when I didn't say something that they're saying I said, you see?
He threw a shot. And then we didn't want to throw the shot, but now we have to throw the shot.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird timing. Why did you pick that day at that time?
So it's weird because now I don't even know what they're talking about. Are they talking about when I unfollowed them on Twitter in 2014? Or are they talking about the video I put out in my holiday Ask the King that I always do on Thanksgiving in 2015? I actually have no idea which they're even talking about.
And like try to do stuff on the sneak. But I catch wind of all this stuff, man. People send me all this stuff.
Yeah,
For the most part, I don't look at it, but with things like this happen, I'll go through and see what's going down.
So he's saying there's a campaign against him. Like, I was constantly trying to like talk shit about him and bring him down and stuff. Again, that wasn't the intention, but again, it's troll bait. Trolls baiting me into saying dumb shit. Okay, let's continue.
It's an attempt to get something going.
Oh, and by the way, he says this is an attempt to get something going. The reason he's talking like this and the reason he made that Thanksgiving video that we watched at the very beginning is because he wants to say something, then we'll say something, then he'll say something. It'll be drama going back and forth for attention on the internet. Wrong. All right? Okay? So that's what I thought. I thought, all right, if there really is an issue, which he always said there was never an issue. He never said there was an issue. He would ongoing tell me, oh, God. All right, everybody, what's... Okay, that's the wrong video. I guess we got to get out of there. There we go.
I would try.
Oh God! Now we're at the end of the video.
We'll talk. I don't know if you want to.
3 months after we last spoke about him, in a positive way that we spoke about him. Let's choose just 3 months randomly, and just say some stuff.
But again, that was 3 months. John didn't ever think about me, hear about me. I was getting it constant. My trolls were all over me constantly about it. Man, Phil, you really fucked up that relationship with Rambo because that was a good thing you had going. He was your friend, and look what you did. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't know anything. Again, I'm not going to dispute that there's things I've done wrong. All right? Let's continue.
Yeah, not only that, every single time we've been out in the field and people have asked us about him, all we do is we don't associate with him anymore, but we wish him the best of luck. Yeah. Remember that guy that we met at the YouTube studios?
Yeah.
It's the same question that we always give the same answer.
Yeah, man.
We're not.
They would go out in public and tell people we don't associate with Phil anymore. We wish him the best, but they wouldn't tell me.
Yeah. And again, I'm gonna like spill this out. This isn't an attack. This isn't like just an attack. Like this is all the shit that went down. There's things that are out there that he put out there, things other people believe that are not true.
Yeah.
So I have to defend.
All right, he's going to bring up the subject of money now.
I believe I was treated fairly with money, but the problem is info that's been presented to you is not exactly true. So it's something.
Okay. John feels that he was treated fairly with money, but people in their circle don't agree. Who? What are you talking about? Okay. Anyway, let's see what John has to say about money, which he said you shouldn't talk about.
That he says quite often, John got 50%, he got half of everything that we made together, or videos I was in with him, right? And again, Howard, like, why is this something that's said publicly?
This shouldn't have.
Can you come up with any kind of reason?
There is no reason to say this unless he's lying, or B, he's trying to save face.
I'm trying to save face because at this time, again, when did I start talking about that shit publicly? 2014, 2015. Because people started, again, maybe mostly trolls, but people saying, Phil, why is John on your content? Phil, John said he would be in your content and he's ignoring you. Why? Did you not pay him? And that was a big thing. People always wanted to make it about money when John never had an issue with money.
I started doing videos with him.
That's Street Fighter vlogging.
We've been hanging out for a couple years before that, playing games, so just kind of transitioned into now we're going to be playing games, but recording games, you know. And I did this stuff from 2008 when we started YouTube. I did this for probably a couple years for nothing.
He says he did it for a couple of years for nothing. That's correct. Any videos that he appeared in before I was able to monetize those videos, he didn't get paid for. I was only able to monetize the gameplay videos in early 2011 when I got partnered with Machinima. So any videos he appears in prior to that, he didn't get paid for. Also, I didn't get paid for them either.
Do you feel that I should get a percentage of that for my efforts on here, right? So we make an agreement.
By the way, he says, I had to come to him and ask. He says it like he was doing these videos for an extended period of time and I was not paying him, and then he had to ask for the money. No. Once I got partnered, it was pretty quick. It wasn't like, oh, I did it for months and months and I had to then ask him and beg him for money. That's not what happened. The way he says that makes it sound like that, and that's not what happened at all. The fuck?
Which will be basically half of the month. Half of the month's co-op income. So what happens is he takes out taxes from that amount and cuts it in half.
Fair.
Right? I get half of that. But for instance, like if it's March and we do videos in March, I will get a percentage of what was made in March. That does not include residuals like for months coming up. Like for instance, if those videos make more money in April or June and July, okay, like that doesn't include that. So whatever was made in April for that month, that's what I would get. It does not include streams or whatever other money comes in, right?
Yep.
This went on for a little while.
Okay, so let's address this.
This goes on for a little while. Then he says to me, Machinima isn't sending me reports anymore, so I have no idea. I have no idea the amount of money that we're making on the co-op. So give me $100 to kind of cover my expense. You also have to consider, these are days like I'm not going to work because my job, and I'm an independent contractor. So just to flat out say he got 50%, it's far from true. And we went to conventions, and he's got an injury. He has a back injury. So I would go and I would carry things. I would film things. I did all the driving, as you know, and do whatever I could to help. I was coming as not. It's not just like, hey Phil, take me on this trip, and I'll fuck around and I'll sit by the pool. Came as basically to assist him in his business, as he likes to call it, right?
A lot of passive aggressive stuff. Okay.
So again, it's not me. That wasn't me complaining about like I should have gotten this, I should have gotten that.
Because he never did.
It's just like, again, it gets out there. He got half of what's made, but there's many more details in there that are not given.
One final thing about it, because they're going to move on and start talking about Project 7 now, I believe. By the end, those last few months that I was in Connecticut and I was paying him the $100. Not that this even matters, but just doing basic math, okay? Our co-op stuff had completely fallen off. The co-op stuff we were doing and the money that those videos were essentially making from Machinima, I was paying him more. That $100 I was paying him a week was actually more than what was being made on the videos. And I was paying him more money than I was making. I was losing money on the co-op for about 2-3 months there at the end there, roughly. Okay? All you gotta do is look at the decline of my channel over the years and you'll see the viewers go boo all the way down. And yeah, those views monstrously declined on that stuff around 2014.
So Project 7, man, the version we were involved in.
Oh.
Tell us a little bit like how it started, Howard, man, because those are your guys,
Actually, guess what? The food is here early.
So prior to me introducing.
So that's Andre up top, and that's Paul down below.
Grew up together and whatnot. They want to make some videos. Are you interested in doing anything with them? And then I go, thinking about it, I go, let's bring Phil in on this.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, but I think when we, so when we
initially was like, let's do something with these guys, and I was like, let's bring Phil in on it. My buddy,
That gets me when he says that.
And then it was like...
That gets me when he says that, when he calls me his buddy, because that's exactly how it was. It was like we had this fondness to each other. Okay.
To do, and it wound up being the Project 7 thing.
Yeah, because that was like... He started Project 7 when, like 2009?
It was, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was like a year before, and then we said, oh, let's, why don't we just reboot it?
Yeah.
So that's a really, really short version.
Right before episode 3 is going to come out, doing my thing. This is going to be a common theme on this recording here, where I'm just kind of doing my thing, doing what I got to do in my daily life, and I start getting messages from people, and I go, what the hell is this?
Trolls. The trolls.
Because basically he's upset that people were in the comments saying that, John's the best part of this, or things like that, So yeah, he makes the video saying John was given things to do. He's given the best lines.
One thing I would like to say, which really pisses me
off.
off.
Oh God! All right, hold on. This audio is bad.
Not me trying to badmouth John Rambo in any way. So for people to say, "Oh, this one person is completely the funniest person," you're a complete fucking idiot. You don't understand the creative process of how this stuff comes together. The fact that we all put our heads together and write it. It's actually insulting for you to say one particular person is the best person in the series when we all write the series. Case in point, in this teaser trailer, there's a funny scene featuring John Rambo, and everyone says it's the best part of the trailer. And I even saw a comment saying, "Wow, this is Rambo's the funniest thing." Guess what? I wrote that scene. It was my idea to put that scene in there. I have no problem that it was John Rambo acting it out. In fact, for a lot of the Project 7 series, I've kind of been on the back burner. It's a difference between saying John Rambo is the funniest character in this series versus, oh, John Rambo's the only good thing about this series. Because then you have no idea how the series works, how a creative process works, and you're insulting everyone else who works on the fucking episodes. So shut your fucking mouths or get blocked.
Okay. Let's unpack that a bit. Okay. First of all, why did I make that? But I just want to clear the air. Completely bad video. Should have never made it. My fault. I shouldn't be baited by the dumb fuck trolls. I mean, I'm really stupid that I did that. And this was actually, in reality, this event of me making that stupid video was the first time John Rambo ever got pissed off at me. Ever. And he's going to talk about that. So here we go.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a flat-out lie.
Yeah.
Flat-out lie. He goes on to talk about, still referencing that same video, he talks about a scene that he came up with. He's like, there's a part of the trailer everyone loves with John. I came up with that. And it's interesting because, the sentence before that, he's talking about how it's a group effort.
Yeah, and then he says that he came up with the lines or whatever.
The next sentence is, I came up with that.
Yeah, which is nonsense. And like you said, going back to what you were saying, John, this is a common theme. Yeah. Because again, instead of addressing this, amongst ourselves, he addresses it publicly, which makes it even worse.
He's right, because here's the deal. I felt like I was the front man. I was the one representing the Project 7 to the public.
Maybe you could say something, or there's a way to say it differently, or is this something, honestly, it's not something that even needs to be really addressed at all?
That's right. Ross G says, you outright say I wrote that scene, but now you're saying you didn't, because I did not write the details of it. I wrote the concept.
He talks about a scene in the trailer that he came up with. I came up with that. It's basically the part where I'm shooting the gun like Rambo does.
There it is.
It's not exactly a genius idea. And, I think several people suggested it. And when it was actually filmed, it's not like he's not like he was directing the scene.
I don't think I was even in there.
Okay, it was, it was something I did, to put it frank, There
was a lot of ad-libbing in Project 7, and there was a lot of trust. It's like, the scene is John Rambo acts like John Rambo and goes crazy. I trust John Rambo to figure it out because he's smart. He's an intelligent guy, and he's creative. He's going to figure it out. I didn't direct him. I wasn't the director. There was no director of Project 7. We all did it together of it.
About a scene that... Oh, the scene where he's like, there's a scene in this episode that a lot of people put together. John wasn't involved in it.
Didn't say that. That's false. He says, there's a scene in this episode that people put together. John wasn't involved in it. Didn't say that at all. I said there's a scene in this episode that's put together primarily by Howard and OJ and a few other people. I never said John wasn't involved in that scene. I said it was primarily Howard and OJ, and I said other people, implying, he was involved too. So was Paul filming it. So was probably Andre. Okay? They already did this previously. They said, oh, Phil said that we talk shit about him. No, I didn't. I said a bunch of dumb shit I shouldn't have said, but I never said you talk shit about me. And then you have a whole segment about it that I said you talk shit about me. I never said that, you know?
OJ and some other people put it together. Of course, it was the great scene where you, what was it? You shoot the gentleman and then you say you didn't wash your hands.
Scene. Yeah.
Okay. In all honesty, you know, it was put together by you, OJ, and me.
Yeah.
And
correct.
Andre and Paul filmed it and directed it. So basically, everyone was involved in putting that together but him.
I was there watching the whole thing. I just didn't have any real input on what they did.
It's just mind-boggling why he would do these things publicly.
Yeah, it's one thing. I mean,
because I'm an idiot. Because I'm a sucker. Because I fell for the troll bullshit.
Because he saw people say, "Oh, John's the best," whatever,
yeah.
And that made him so upset.
Yep.
Now I'm angry.
No, I was angry because they were downplaying everyone else and basically saying the entire show was shit, which it wasn't. I was angry because I felt like, it's particularly Respect the Pact was being disrespected with the things that the trolls were saying. But I shouldn't have said anything. I should just, who cares about them? The show had good viewership. If you look, the show had hundreds of thousands of views at the time, which is big for my channel back then. So I don't know why I even said a word. I got baited again. But no, I wasn't trying to downplay or insult Rambo at all. Although some people definitely said it came out like that. And in addition, here we go again, right? What happened? The trolls messaged John. Hey, John, did you hear what Phil said? Because it worked. They tricked me. I said stupid shit in a video. Here we go. Send it right to John. And John looks at it and says, what the fuck is this shit? What is this shit? What is wrong with Phil? Why is he such an idiot? Now I have to slap him. Okay, he didn't say that. But he did call me. He's going to talk about that.
So I call him immediately, and I fucking have it out with him, dude. I tell him everything I'm feeling about it, and I'm pissed off. So
I mean this now. I know this is in a joking manner. If he had walked into my place and slapped my face, I would have been like shocked, but I would have not been angry.
So he apologizes to me, and I accept it. But he never actually says anything publicly. There's no public apology. There's no clarification about what he said, how it wasn't exactly the truth.
Yep.
And then what basically happens is there's people that are his fans, and a lot of them not very bright. Let's be honest here. And they start shitting on me. They come at me and they shit on me because they think, oh, fucking, that's what Phil wants me to do, right?
Wrong. It's the trolls.
It started to fall apart, and what was basically happening was these guys were working 50, 60 hours a week on getting this shit edited to try to pump it out with these unrealistic timelines. So naturally what's going to happen is people are just going to get burnt out, which ended up happening. Couple that with the fact, and again, we don't want to talk too much about it, but couple that with the fact with money. These guys are putting all this time and effort into this fucking thing, and what do they get? Gugats. That's what they got. Throw them some money here and there, some percentage of the profits, and this and that. So what ends up happening? John and I are talking about this.
Okay, so before they get because they're going to get ahead of themselves to another portion of this. So now I have to tell you guys the whole story, which really is no one's business. In this video, for the first time ever, they reveal, the reason that the show ended is because Respect the Pact wasn't getting paid. Okay? Completely false. It really is utterly, completely 100% false. I hate to say it. This is 100% baloney. So allow me to explain the whole situation of what really happened. Okay? So if the episodes made any money, that money was going to be reinvested into the show, making merch, like making the shirts, making the DVDs. That's where the money was supposed to go. That was profit on the show. It was never, we made an episode, and now there's 5 of us involved in making the episode. So you take the actual money you made from Machinima on that episode, you divide by 5, and everyone gets paid. That was literally never once discussed, ever, when we were talking and developing Project 7. Not once. So for them to start this conversation here, saying basically, Respect the Pact didn't get anything. Respect the Pact got exactly what they wanted. Literally to the T of what they asked for. That's what they wanted, and they got it.
And John says, I'm going to talk to him. So what does John say? John goes up to him and says, dude, throw him some money, man. These guys, if you throw them some money, they'll continue. If not, they're going to stop.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because like anytime there is a problem, I always do address it right to his face.
It's always done. That's true.
So
which is not being said now.
What does he say?
I forgot to change the camera. Thank you. Okay, let's continue.
He has the audacity to say, "Oh, they didn't. I told them, or I asked them if they wanted money, and they denied it." That's a fucking load of shit.
By the way, timeline's wrong. He's saying all this happened first. Wrong.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard for us. It was hard for them.
Yeah, I mean, it was one day of filming. Maybe.
It was hardest for them by far, and I can vouch for this.
So it gets to a point where it's a lot of work for these guys. They feel like they're not getting anything back. And they're not getting credit. They're not getting,
Oh, no. Not anyone getting credit. They outright say in their email to me, oh, we know we're getting the credit and we know you're doing everything you can to promote our stuff. We're just not getting enough notoriety and enough money out of our own stuff for this to continue. That's what they said. They had nothing about credit. They loved the amount of credit they were getting.
Yeah.
The videos made a lot of money. If you look at the views, the amount of views, he gets paid on views. It's like $2 for every 1,000 views that he gets. So simply, figure out how much you made off all these videos. I know that Phil spent a lot of money on props and stuff, so subtract all the costs. That's fair, right? Subtract all your costs, then you have a number, and then split it the 5 ways and throw them the cash.
Yep.
And offer that to them. There's no guarantee that they're going to continue with the series, but hey man, at least try. And that's fair. His response, they don't want money. They don't want any money after this. Based on what he says, they told him that.
Yeah, and then I asked them about it, and they said he didn't even talk to them. And this is what I mean.
I can pull up the email right now, but like I said, I'm not going to do that. I could literally pull up the email they wrote to me and said, we are not continuing with the series. Yes, the money and the notoriety was a factor, but it's personal reasons that we cannot continue. He outright says, Andre's having a kid. I knew that because they told me. They probably shouldn't have. They told me that. And I was like, all right, if he's having a kid, how the fuck is he going to have 50, 60 hours a week to work on our show and hold down a job to raise his kid? I get it. All right? Now let me get this straight. You want me to seem like a pushy jerk and go to them after they outright said, we basically quit. Here's the email in writing. We're doing it on purpose. They didn't call me and have a conversation. They wrote it in an email on purpose. So it was in writing. We quit. Okay? Now you want me to go back to them and try to be pushy and be like, well, what if I give you some money? Will you keep doing it? Will you keep doing it? No, he's having a kid. I don't want to bother him anymore. At this point, when this was what I was told, I said, all right, forget it. I will look for someone else. And
because now what ends up happening is like, do you value money more than our friendship? Because if that's the case, then why am I even here?
About?
Right.
What is he talking about? What, do you value money more than our friendship? I wasn't making money on Project 7, and I also paid your way to go to conventions and shit. Like, what are you talking about? Again, he's like, oh, well, on top of all of that, there also should have been more money coming our way. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, when did I ever pick money over friendship? Ever.
I didn't get shit out of Project 7.
So, no one got paid. Now, here's the thing. I got paid.
John got paid.
And I'll use that cash towards a new car. And so I got my money. But there's, 3 other people, you guys, that got zero.
John Rambo did not get paid for Project 7. This is a lie. His car probably broke down because of me. You understand that? He's driving his car from New York to Connecticut and back once a week to do co-op with me. It's probably why his car's busted. Feel kind of responsible for that. I want to help my friend. Okay.
We all, you, myself, and Phil, came up with the idea, let's make t-shirts, right?
Yeah.
So
yes, and actually it was in the initial meeting.
Here's the thing.
Since we're a team, as he said, and we all did it together, and, it's not one person, it should be fair, and it should be divvied up.
To add on to what you were saying.
So, what's fair? Okay, so what's fair? Did they really want me to divvy up negative $1,000 and give them bills each for $200? And you can argue, all right, well, Phil, you invested all that money, but that's on you. Fair enough. If any of them came to me and said, hey, we'd like to get paid, we need the money, I would say, okay, and I would have paid them. And it would have been out of my pocket, out of the videos that I made, had nothing to do with Project 7, I still would have paid them, okay? I did that with John. There's your evidence right there. John just said, I did it. I would have done that with any of them. So what's fair? Well, it earned nothing, it lost money, but if you want to get paid for it, let me know, I'll pay anyway. No one ever did, besides John.
We start showing up to your house, and what do we see? The guy starts buying figurines, starts buying all this ridiculous shit that there's no need to buy. Then we show up to his house one day, and what does he have in the fucking driveway? A BMW. So how the fuck do you think I feel, and how do you think these guys feel after the fact? Is there anything, you know, do you not understand how this burns people when they put all their freaking hard work into this, and you're making all the money and the glory, and none of us ain't making shit?
Yeah, it's more about respect and being fair.
It's about respect, man. You have no respect for your friends, for your family. You don't give a shit about anybody but yourself.
I have no respect for my friends and my family. I don't care about anyone but myself. It's interesting. It's very interesting that he would say that. Okay? Now, I've already revealed to you guys that Project 7 lost me money. The stuff in my house is stuff that I bought with the other time that I'm making videos on YouTube. You know how I worked 7 days a week with no time off at all for like 3 fucking years? Okay. Now, please, for the love of God, let's get to the fucking t-shirts.
That's the, you know, and maybe that's not even true. Maybe it's not true, but that's how it comes off.
See?
Yeah.
And that's what
You
you're
see
expressing
that?
to other people.
Howard goes to the extreme. Phil has no respect for his friends or his family. And then John says, oh, that's probably not true, but that's how it comes off. Wait, what?
No, it's the thing is nobody's jealous, nobody's nothing. It's when people make money, one person makes money off the back of everybody else.
And on top of you're putting videos out there, we're going, I did that.
Yeah.
I came up with that. And it's like, no, you didn't.
See, now they mix the two things. Well, is it about money or is it about who did the credit? Now they're mixing the issues.
All right, so let's get back to the shirts thing.
Finally.
This is
the shirts.
disastrous.
I want to get this out of the way before I split the part.
We get together.
Oh.
And we decide let's make t-shirts, you know. So we all put money together, and I'm gonna throw out the figure. It was about $900.
I just said that.
Okay,
So
I had no idea.
$300 per person. We put
Wrong. $900. Here's what happened. Oh, these are the t-shirt logos that Howard's talking to them about making because we're going to sell t-shirts. Huh? We didn't even discuss this. We didn't have any ideas for logos. Nothing. He was behind the scenes talking to Respect the Pact about making these shirts. And then he basically told them to make them. So they send these to me. Right? Here's some t-shirt designs that you guys can sell. I didn't even know they were doing this. I had no clue they were making these logos.
the money together. Then we start figuring out, we go to these conventions, we do this, and that. The t-shirts aren't selling. So whatever, I'm going to cut my losses. I don't give a shit. Right?
You heard what he just said. The t-shirts aren't selling. All right, whatever. I'm going to cut my losses. I don't give a shit. So that's the end of the story, right? There's no more t-shirts involved. That's it. That's the end.
Comes up to us, we're talking about it. He gets to Seattle. He starts doing this Project 7 reboot thing that he's doing. Yeah. Making videos, doing all this stuff. Then I start finding out that he's reselling t-shirts.
This is, by the way, this is all wrong. Not even correct order of anything. What he's saying right now is completely false. Let's continue.
Or he's giving them out.
It was for his Patreon.
For a Patreon.
As far as I understand, I could be wrong here, so if I'm wrong, please correct me.
Yeah.
Anyone out there, but for his Patreon, it's you give a certain amount of money. I think maybe it's $40 or $50. Then you will get one of the shirts.
Yep.
But the problem is he doesn't actually own the shirts.
False.
Completely.
Yeah, he doesn't own the shirts completely, so he's giving them out. Now,
false. And this is why they're telling the whole story out of order. I do own the shirts.
So he's taking shirts that your face is on the shirt.
Yeah.
He has to physically look at your face as he packages the shirt.
I did not design the logo. Howard talked to Respect the Pact to have those logos designed.
and then mail it as he goes to mail it, and never for a second thinks, wait a minute, this person paid for a percentage of the shirt.
Yep.
And on top of that, the logos, the actual shirts are made by Andre. He's not getting anything.
The shirts were not made by Andre. They were made by me, financed by me. The logos were made by Andre. That is correct.
There was a point where that we only sold one or two. So I don't want to go nuts with that. But yeah, at one point OJ was actually, he had them physically. He had them in his basement for months. And I think at one point Phil just said, throw them out. And we didn't do it. I was like, no, don't throw them out. Maybe you could give them away. I was like, give them away like as a prize or something someday, So when he moved, he asked for them back. And I was like,
that is 1,000,000% false. And in fact, that might actually be the one lie that John tells in this whole video. Because pretty much everything John says is pretty factual, or at least half-truths. In this case, that's a lie.
All right,
and we'll talk about that.
So I got him from John, picked him up, brought him to his house. I didn't really think about it. And then, yeah, here you go. So now he's actually using them as an incentive to give him money or whatever the hell it is, And I'm sure his response will be something like, I don't remember that you paid, or I don't know. Or you never? Maybe he'll say you never brought it up to me but you shouldn't have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you shouldn't have to now.
You really shouldn't have to call him and go, Phil, give me the money from my percentage of the shirt.
Yeah. Now, the way that I look at it for now with this, it's a wash. And this is why it's a wash. Actually, it's not really a wash when I look at it like this, because of what he had told me. And this goes back to what we were talking about before, about him detracting statements, right? So let's rewind before Project 7.
Okay, so now they just told a story of how I essentially stole a bunch of shirts that I didn't own, moved across the country, and started selling them to make profit.
Mm-hmm. Right? So CPS2 has a battery. The battery dies. The board dies. So he goes to me. He's like, man, I can't really do anything with it. You can keep it. If you can fix it, just keep it. Right? So what do? I got a friend of mine that lives in Manchester. Right? He goes, I call him up. I met him online, Bill. And Bill goes, yeah, just come by. I'll revive the board. Right? So I throw him I think it was like $30 or $40, right? He goes, revives the boards for me, rewrites the EPROMs, gets rid of the battery. Board works fine, right? Mm-hmm. So one day he comes up and we start playing ST. I said, I managed to get that board up and running. All right, so when are you going to give it back to me? You just told me you're going to give me the fucking board. What do you mean give it back to you? What, are you out of your mind? I just paid $40 to revive this, and you think I'm going to give it back to you? Okay. So, and then this is when this...
Not going to say anything.
And then right after what happens, the t-shirt thing happens.
Yeah.
So you know what I say? Fuck it, I ain't giving you shit back. So I'm keeping a board, right? For the t-shirt, for the $300 that you owe me in fucking t-shirts.
Huh.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. Okay, time for the real story in the real order that it happened, okay? I don't know anything about him restoring the board or anything till like later. We start going over his house. Apparently the board's restored. He says we can use it. I think we might have played on it a few times on his cabinet. I'm not sure. I don't care. Have the board. I don't care. You're my friend. I'm never going to use it. It's under my bed. Collecting fucking dust bunnies. Take it. Okay? Phil wants it back. No. I don't want to. What do I want the board back for? I don't remember asking for the board back. If I did, I would think it would have been in a joking manner. But apparently Howard hates my guts so much that he doesn't understand that. Okay? But I didn't want a Super Turbo board back from this guy. He essentially just had it for free. Okay? What did they never mention? Oh, I paid Howard for the money of the t-shirts at the conventions. Absolutely I did. We split the money. Split it. Everyone got a cut. Okay? Everyone made their money on the shirts for what we sold at conventions. Never explained, never elaborated on in this video, right? Never happened. Sure. So, after all our convention runs are done because Project 7's done, now we got a fucking thing full of shirts that are worthless. They're sitting in OJ's basement. John says to me, what should we do with these shirts? I said, throw them out. I outright told him this. I said, John, throw them out. One day before I'm moving out of Connecticut, John comes over to help me pack up for the move. And what does he bring with him? The fucking shirts. He plops them down on my floor and says, oh, here's your shirts back. I said, what the fuck is this? He goes, it's your shirts. I said, I don't want these. I told you to throw these out like last year, 2 years ago. What are they? Oh, they were just sitting in OJ's basement for years. Oh, why? Okay. So what am I supposed to do with these now? Right? Now, I don't want them, but they're in with all my moving shit, right? Because he brought them over during my move. So guess what happens? I accidentally moved them with my shit. I didn't actually mean to, but you're marking like 100 boxes to move and shit. You're putting stickers on everything. I'm not thinking. Come to find out, I'm not kidding. That box of shirts that I already paid $900 for and I'm never getting my money back for cost me about another $75 to move across the country. Howard says to me one day, because I'm moving, right? I'm moving across the country. He goes, I still got your Super Turbo board. And just so you know, you never paid me for the $300 for the shirts that never sold, but it was a wash. It's okay. But in exchange for that, I'm going to keep your Super Turbo board because we use it. We got it on my cabinet. We use it. So I'm just going to keep that. And I said, that sounds like a great idea. Now we don't have to worry about, money owed and shit between friends when I move. You keep the board. I keep the shirts. It's a wash, right? Where the fuck does this story come from? Right? I'll tell you where the story comes from. The trolls. When I started putting up those shirts on my Patreon, which I owned once, twice over, paid the shit out of them at this point, okay? Trolls start, but you don't own those. Those shirts don't just have your face on them. There's John Howard on it. Don't you feel bad selling those shirts on Patreon? Which I wasn't selling them. They were patron perks, okay? They weren't actual outright sale. I wasn't selling a t-shirt on the internet, okay? But there you go. Like, don't you think that, that's messed up? No, it's not messed up. This guy was paid. He's keeping my Super Turbo board. I challenge you now to go look on the internet and find a Super Turbo board. They're not even available anymore. They're collector's items. They go for a ridiculous amount of money. Way more than $300. And he has this board in his possession today. Okay? I don't want to hear this bullshit. Phil sold shirts he didn't fully own. That is a bull-faced fucking lie. Why is he in this fucking video? This video was supposed to be the friendship of me and John Rambo. And he has fully interjected himself into this situation as a third party that was barely involved in the issues between me and John Rambo, yet he's the one narrating.
Bring up, why did you say this? Please give me the money you owe me. This isn't fair. It puts you in a terrible position to have to keep doing that, and it's tough.
But then it gets to a point where you just get irritated because the guy don't give a shit about you or anyone else. That's what's irritating the most, man.
So, again, since I'm addressing things that have been said publicly, it involves, of all things, Howard, Mario Party.
Okay. I'm just going to let this entire story play. 100% of this story is true. I am 100% guilty. So I can sit back and relax and shake my head at what a fucking asshole I was. Ready?
Involving Mario Party. So people were going out there and saying, because we were doing a lot of co-ops, they're like, we want to see you play Mario Party with John. Phil decides he wants to play it with his girlfriend. I have no problem with his girlfriend. I've met her a couple times. She was very nice to me. I got nothing bad to say. She's cool people to me. Okay?
That's my ex.
He makes a video where he says that John doesn't want to play Mario Party. John likes gritty, mature type games. He doesn't want to play that. I'm going to play it with my girlfriend. It's flat out lie.
So what else I do want to address before we do now move on to what's coming up in this week? A lot of people are watching me do co-op with Panda League, and they're leaving comments such as, "Oh, so I see he's replaced John Rambo. I miss John Rambo. I want John Rambo to play Mario Party 9. Alright, listen. Other games come out, just because a game is co-op doesn't mean it's something that we're interested in doing. I've had Ratchet and Clank All for One on my shelf since it was released in November of 2011. John had zero interest in playing that game. We had several opportunities to play it. I kept bringing it up, and he was like, nah, I'd rather do something else. Same thing with Mario Party 9. This isn't a game that John's going to want to play. John likes to play games like you're seeing us play, X-Men Legends, You know, games that are fun, adult-oriented, you know, gritty, combat-oriented games. Those are the kind of things that he's going to want to play. I understand that people, oh, I miss John. All right, we understand you like it when John and I do co-op. I love doing co-op with John, okay? But there are going to be games that I'm just not going to play with John, and I'm going to play with other people. Notably, Panda Lee will be one of them, when she's here once a month. If there's a game that we want to play, we're going to play it together. And if you don't want to watch the footage, then just don't watch it. But the bottom line is, John Rambo doesn't want to fucking play every game under the sun. He purposely didn't want to play Ratchet & Clank, which is what took us so long to play it to begin with. He doesn't want to play Mario Party 9. So stop making ridiculous requests, stop leaving negative comments on the video. Oh, this video sucks because John Rambo should have played this game. Fuck you. Get that shit off the video, because if I see it again, and I'm going to be honest, you're getting blocked. I'm not putting up with it anymore. Not people whining and complaining about how they can't get what they want. John and I play what we want. Panda Lee and I play what we want. If you don't like it, don't fucking watch it. I'm tired of the bullshit on the videos. Next time I see it, you're getting permanently blocked. Don't come back begging me, oh, please Phil unblock me, oh. No, it's over. It's just over. The immature bullshit is over, okay? So I'm just warning everyone, there's a reason why I play what I play with who the person I play it with, and if you don't like it, don't fucking watch the video. That's it. Okay. Got it off my chest.
And to support them, look at the stuff that we did play. So much crazy stuff, all the Kinect games, Kung Fu Riders, or whatever else, man. Whatever he wanted to do, whatever the people wanted us to do, I would certainly do it.
Oh yeah, I could do a testament to that because you and I played some really shitty games, man.
And it's hard to dispute that. So I draw the line of Mario Party, but everything else is fine.
Yeah.
So what happens is he says, "Oh, John doesn't want to play that," you know, and this is something that people are asking for. So what happens? The common theme: people get pissed at me. So as I've already given you several examples. Here's another one, and I tell him what's up. He apologizes, just like the several times before that. And it starts to click, you know, if someone just keeps saying sorry when they do something, they're not really apologizing, right? If apologizing isn't just words, it's I will not do this thing again.
So, again, the timeline is skewed, okay? Was that he lied about Mario Party, okay? He's right. 100% correct, I lied. I made it up. All right? I mean, do you want the justification? There is none. My ex wanted to play Mario Party with me, and everyone wanted me to play it with Rambo, but my ex wanted to play it, so we played it, and I lied. That's it. Stupid.
He talks about how we had plans in the fall. He was going to move. He moved in June. And John and I had plans in the fall. We were to start doing stuff. Now, on this same channel that he's saying these things on, there's videos from that time period where he's talking about doing stuff in that summer. So his timeline is screwed, man.
Yeah, but the timeline he's talking about is the newly established timeline. Like, again, okay, I guess I got to go through this quickly. When I moved out here, the whole intention was that within a few weeks, maybe a month, we were going to start doing content together again over the internet. A digital version of our commentary show, Smart Guys, over Skype. And maybe co-op gameplay over the internet like we had done before. He's the one who said, no, I can't do it. Okay?
I was a little upset. I was very upset at the fact that he sent me a text message like last minute asking me to do like a co-op.
Okay. He's going to get into this story, which I forgot. I didn't even realize this was next. I thought it was a different thing coming up.
Never sends me a text message. Doesn't call me. Doesn't ask me how I'm doing.
From when he moves.
From when he moves. So from that point, I sent him a couple of text messages here and there. And I'm going to go into something, John, because this basically goes in line into what we were talking about.
Yep.
So I sent him text messages, some random ones, you know, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, doesn't reply back. So I thought that he changed his number.
Okay, so he moves in June.
Yeah.
You never hear from him again, basically.
So I never hear from him again. So
okay. Let's talk. I did not have a close personal friendship with Howard.
Look at that. Perfect. Great. Perfect. Great. Look at that.
Man, perfect.
Look at this. Perfect.
I was trying to hear it flying for a second.
I know, yeah.
No, that's
Fucking
Phil.
second.
Fuck.
This is fucking crap.
Suck the Miyamoto dick.
December 29th rolls around last year,
Yeah, 2014.
and I get in 2014, and I get a message from Chris and a few other people. That's
I gotta clarify. Chris is one of our Street Fighter friends from New York.
so. What do? I sent him a message.
And you're the only one, by the way, because I wasn't going to contact Phil because I wasn't talking to him at this point.
Yeah.
Nobody else wanted to talk to him. But Howard here, who hasn't heard from Phil at that point many months since he moved, you decide I'll be the one to tell Phil.
Yeah, so I send him a message, and I go, I didn't say anything hi or anything like that. The only thing, because the last time I did that, he didn't reply back to me. I said, hey, Scott passed away. That's all I wrote. Doesn't reply back to me. Then, this is what fucking burns me, okay? Yeah. This shit fucking burns the fuck out of me. What does the guy do? A week or two later, makes a video about Scott passing away.
So let's actually start with...
This is the video of a 2+ hour podcast that I'm doing. All right. This is not a separate video. This is not a special event or anything like that. This is just one segment of a podcast, a variety show that I used to hold on the internet.
And I remember when I was growing up, in the 90s, playing Street Fighter in arcades, I had a friend of mine named Tihydr, who also I've talked about on the podcast before, who befriended this guy, Scott. I had my laptop, and I had giant, beastly Alienware laptop. I mean, this thing was like literally like this thick. It was a
Forgot
big
this
monster.
is in it. Here we
Weighed
go.
like a ridiculous amount. It was super heavy, right? And I guess I had some porn or something on there that I hadn't deleted, and he starts looking on my laptop because I had it in the hotel room. It's my fault, right? It's my laptop. I shouldn't have had that shit in there in the hotel room for everyone to use. And he started playing it for everyone. He goes, hey, everyone, come over here and take a look at this giant black meat. And people were like, what? And they run over. It's like porn with a black dude banging some white chick or something. It's like, and that was, I mean, he caught me out for having that on the laptop, and everyone was laughing a good laugh. And I remember there was this time when we were, and, I was being an uptight idiot back then. But now I can look back and I can laugh and say, that's some pretty funny stuff. But yeah, he was a character. He was, if anything, the best way to describe Scott is that he was a character. And I don't know what happened, what the situation is, because like I said, I haven't met Scott, I haven't seen Scott in over a decade. I mean, so I'm incredibly grateful. Scott Hovhannissian was an amazing character. He was a fun guy. Again, spearheaded the Connecticut Street Fighter community. May he rest in peace. I hope that, obviously that his family and everyone, my condolences are with you. And that's it. Okay?
Dude, don't fucking publicize somebody's death. Are you fucking serious? You don't do that, man.
And the bigger issue is, like, he never said anything back to you.
Doesn't say anything back to me, but dude, don't publicize.
Thanks for the information. I'll put this in the video, but I'm not going to say nothing to you.
Not only that, what does he do? He brings up T, right? Now, T at the time was like one of the greatest Street Fighter players in our area. If he was alive, he probably would have been one of the top players in the country. Okay? And he starts fucking talking about this guy, right? So what does that do? Naturally, in our circle of friends, everybody is fucking fuming because there was no need to bring up T, there was no need to bring up Scott, there's no need to bring up people's deaths and publicize it and make money off of it. There's no need for that, man. And he did. You have no respect for people that are alive, for fucking people that are dead. You don't give a shit about anybody but yourself.
So there you go. You shouldn't have to go to your friend consistently and bring up, like, why did you say this? Please give me the money. So people were going out there and saying, because we were doing a lot of co-ops, they're like, we want to see you play Mario Party with John. If you keep doing the thing, it's not actually an apology. What do you think about that?
No.
Let's say that. I'm just joking there, but yeah, that's exactly what it is,
Yeah.
Oh, here's my scapegoat that I could get out of the situation.
I really couldn't believe the way he was behaving near the end there. It was out of control.
And I get, in 2014, and I get a message from Chris that Scott passed away.
Yeah, I start getting messages from Chris. You called me as well.
Yep.
So you should set it up because it has to do with the Street Fighter community.
It has to do with the Street Fighter community.
Which is a group. At that point, many months since he moved, you decide I'll be the one to tell Phil.
Yeah, so I send him a message, and I go, I didn't say anything hi or anything like that. The only thing, because the last time I did that, he didn't reply back.
Here to talk a little bit about a friend of mine, someone who I've mentioned previously on Hate Live. I don't know what happened, what the situation is, because like a bad situation is that probably the
I thought a long time about how I was going to respond to this part. But previous to me making this video about Scott, which I didn't make a video about Scott, let me clarify that. That's a segment of a podcast that I did. One segment, okay? Was the podcast monetized? Of course it was. Everything that I put out was monetized at that time. It's how I made my living, okay? I wasn't doing interactive streams with contributions during them at that time. Everything at that point was ad revenue. That's how I made my life, my living, okay? It's how I paid for everything. And basically, I wanted to do a tribute to him in the best way that I could, knowing that well that my audience was not going to know who he was, right? And I did the same thing with T, by the way. And I don't have that for you. I don't want to play that for you. And you can be the person to tell us his story. So I did. I made a video on a podcast just like that. And I had scanned the pictures into my computer. Okay? And I shared it with the world. The podcast doesn't get a lot of views. Okay? The podcast maybe got 10,000, maybe 20,000 views tops. Okay? I thought I did a good job doing a tribute to T. Alright? And I did as best I could. Now I'm going to tell you guys something that nobody knows. I was haunted by T's death for a very long time. I actually feel like it was one of the reasons why I originally had depression. Because it happened to me at a time in my life when, my God, I hadn't dealt with death or loss. And although everyone in Connecticut was hurting at the time when he died, I blamed myself for it. I don't know if I ever told this story before to anyone. But the day when T died, I met him at the mall before he was murdered. And he was saying to me, oh, we're going to go over someone's house and we're going to play some games or whatever. And I had a car, by the way, at the time. I had a car. And he basically offered, hey, you want to come with us or whatever. And I was like, no, I couldn't or whatever. I actually don't remember the specifics. And he was like, all right, cool. Because I was thinking maybe I could get a ride with you if you could drive us over there or whatever. And I was like, no, I can't do it. I'm busy or whatever, Who knows? There's a kid who I've seen a million times before. I'm going to see him a million times again in my life, right? That day, he was walking home from playing Street Fighter at this kid's house. And a gang member decided to shoot him for no reason. I guess, there's all kinds of guesses. And I guess the rumor that hit the streets was that this gang member, this was their initiation. Oh, prove that you're hard enough to be part of our gang by just murdering someone in the fucking street walking home. He got shot. Okay? And I blame myself because I said if I had hung out with T that day and I had driven him to his friend's house, I could have driven him home. And maybe he wouldn't have got shot. Now, of course, that's ridiculous. I didn't shoot the kid, right? We all know we're all rational people here. We're rational adults. But this is what happens in your fucking head, okay? Before I moved out of Connecticut, I drove to his grave and couldn't get out of the car. I didn't say goodbye before I left because I couldn't do it because I was too fucking weak. Because I was so haunted at losing this guy. And this was many years later. He died in the late 90s. This was 2014, and I couldn't do it. Okay? So when I made that tribute about T, all right, I was trying to make up for it. When I made that tribute to T in that Hate Live podcast, okay, I received more hate towards me than I think I'd ever dealt with before in my life. My trolls basically spun it and said, you have monetized your friend's death. You are scum. You're a piece of shit. All right? I actually had a couple people who reached out to me after I did that tribute to T and said, Phil, thank you. Because we knew T back in the day, and seeing those pictures put a smile on our face and we remembered him. Okay? And that was really nice of you to do it that way because you didn't have to, you know. And, you know, now more people know T's story. So people who knew T were contacting me and thanking me. All right? Now, you say I monetized someone's death. All right? I don't know how worse you could be of a person to say something like that. All right? All right? Just to reiterate here, this video we just watched, the Hate Live podcast, got 11,000 views on YouTube. Okay? I don't even make $2 per 1,000 views anymore on YouTube at this point. All right? Arguably, this video maybe made, I don't know, $10. No exaggeration. Probably $10, $15 tops. For the entire podcast, the 2-hour video. The video is a 2+ hour podcast. This is one segment of said podcast. Okay? I want more people to know about Scott. I care about the memory of Scott. One of the most awesome people I met in the Street Fighter community. The guy who I literally say in that video, if it weren't for him actually saying, hey, Phil, stop playing Street Fighter in Connecticut. Go to 8 on the Break in Dunedin, New Jersey and play Street Fighter there. If he had never said that to me and I never listened to him, likely I never would have started playing competitive Street Fighter and traveling. I never would have gotten the confidence I had to be in front of people. I never would have been able to do things that I did in my work life and my personal life. I never would have ever placed at Evo. I never would have turned on a camera and talked to it. I never would have live streamed. I never would have done any of these things. Excuse me. Ever, any of them. If it wasn't for Scott. Okay? Now, were there ads on that podcast? Of course there were. There's ads on every video I had. I was still partnered with Machinima at the time. And so all the videos that I had those ads on them, you know. And I could have removed the ads. All right? Personally, I just don't see, I mean, I'll be honest here, I don't see the big deal. When you're doing a 2-hour podcast, a 3-hour podcast, and you're doing one tribute segment to someone, all right? Does that mean that the whole thing has to be, you know, demonetized? And you can argue either way. That's up to you. You can argue that. That's fine. You can say, yes, it should be. All right? My take on it is, if you're going to do that, then separate that portion and make a whole video just about that tribute and then demonetize that tribute. All right? But take a look at shows, and by the way, this is not an equivalent comparison, but take a look at like the Oscars. Every year at the Oscars, there's a big tribute segment. All the big people, you know, all the prominent actors we have lost this year, right? And they run the segment. It's a big tribute, a well-to-do, shows all their great roles or whatever, okay? Is the Oscars demonetized? Did they say, well, because we're doing a tribute on our show today of those who we lost this year, we care about a lot, we miss, we're not going to have any advertisers on the show. I'm not aware of that happening, okay? Really. And again, I wasn't breaking the bank. I didn't make a ton of money. It was 11,000 views on that video. So maybe I made $10, 15 maybe at the time. Who knows? I don't care. That wasn't what it was about. Okay, it was one segment, a tribute show, and I much rather would have people know about Scott than not, which is why that was in that show. You understand?
That you feel
yeah,
it, but
should...
you did. It's like it's again. It's back to the apology thing. It's you could tell someone so many times, right? And they apologize, but they keep doing the same behavior over and over. At a certain point, you realize this is who they are. They're not going to, they're not really apologizing. They're not really going to change.
No,
this is how it is. And you have to make the decision, like, do I want this in my life or not? You know, which is affecting you in a negative way.
Yeah, it affected all of us in a negative way. And I'm at a point in my life, I'll be completely honest.
How did making a tribute to my friend who passed away affect you so poorly, Howard?
And one of the things that I cherish in my life now are the people that are around me, man.
Absolutely. I mean, what else is there?
That is what I cherish.
That's all that matters, man.
I don't care about games. I don't care about, about what I have. That doesn't.
If you had millions of dollars right now, but you had no one around you, you had no family or friends, but you had all the money, what is that a good life?
No, it's not.
I don't know.
What are they talking about? This whole video, it's not about money. It's not about the money, but money gets brought up constantly. And now I'm literally referenced as the guy surrounded by money, but has no friends. And would you be happy if you were in that same position like Phil? Like, they literally just compared me. That's me. Again, that's the same as Pay Me Tons. They said dark side in the Pay Me Tons video. They literally just said, Phil is the guy with all this money who moved across the country, and now he's by himself, and he's completely alone, and we wouldn't be happy if we had that. All right?
But what happens? He leaves, and he doesn't contact us, and the only reason...
Wrong. Contacted Rambo, not you, because I didn't want to speak with your ass.
And he goes, it's definitely not about the money, and it's not about me revealing something personal. It's definitely not that. But
okay. This will be the final segment. I will not be pausing as much in this final segment because I need to finish this and it's getting super duper late. So let's do it.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't run to complain online or cry about what the world owes you all these things. You deal with what you got to deal with, man.
And again, what is he speaking of? I don't know. When did I run to the internet and complain and cry about all these things that the world owes me things? Take a look back and tell me moments where I insulted Rambo.
So I basically had a lot. I basically had a lot happening. I had really run myself into the ground, sacrificing a lot of things. Doing his content too. I was working on the episode, Sean's Made a Whole Bunch episode 9. There's a lot of work. I was doing stuff with Phil as well.
I had already moved. We're talking about months after my move. We weren't doing anything together. This is false. He was doing stuff earlier in the year with me.
You have to go out on your own and do things to find work. Like you don't just show up for 8 hours and you get a check. It's not how it works. Yeah. So I wasn't doing a lot of real life things because I was sacrificing to make something I believed in and had desire to do. That was my own choice. Okay, I'm not complaining about it.
I'm being told by Nave, he's referencing before I moved. So you changed the timeline again.
So I did put a message. I didn't contact him and say, the episode's up because, like I said, there was an agreement that we talked about where I said, when I'm ready to do stuff, I will let you know. It should be soon. But the episode comes out. I put on Twitter, I'm going away. He notices while I'm gone. He notices the episode comes out. So while I'm away, he starts throwing me messages again. I'm not around to respond to them. So that weekend, he makes a video, one of his videos that he puts out. He says, I've been trying to reach John, but he won't respond to me.
That's the rough plan for this week. Now, you may be saying, what's going on this weekend, Phil? Because you've been dragging us along every week. What's going on with John Rambo and with Smart Guys and this new show that you guys were going to do? We'd really be interested to know what's going on and is it going to return. In particular, right now as I stream and film this video, SummerSlam is on television. And as you can see, I'm not watching it, right? So people might be saying, gee, what's going on with pro wrestling? What's going on with Smart Guys?
So this is exactly what was happening is John kept telling me he's going to do stuff with me. So I told my audience, yeah, John says he's going to do stuff. We'll do it eventually. I'll let you know when we have details. And then John would not talk to me. Or I should have just said to everyone, listen, guys, this is between me and John. We got to hash it out. We don't have any details. When we have details, we'll tell you. For me, I was the kind of person who was trying to be 100% transparent with my audience, which is a horrible idea. So if I promise people, John said he's coming back right after Shaw's Man a Hole Punch. That's what he told me. And then Shaw's Man a Hole Punch comes out, and there's no John. Guess who they come to? Me. Every time I open my big mouth about it in a video like that, it just got worse. Okay.
Well, I'm very honestly gonna tell you, gonna tell you that this past week, John Rambo finally, after years, released the final episode of Shanaz Man and Hole Punch. It's literally feature length. It's like the length of a whole real movie that you would go see at the movie theater, all right? In my opinion, probably one of the best independently created series, one of the best independently shot things I've ever seen in my life. You gotta keep in mind that John Rambo filmed this, wrote this, did all the music, did all the editing himself. And
can you tell that I was very apologetic for what I had said about Project 7 years before? That I always felt really bad that I basically downplayed John's involvement?
But that being said, he released that this week. And then after that, he pretty much just kind of disappeared. He actually only tweeted a couple times. I watched the episode actually on Thursday of this week. And I texted him. I said, John, great job. What a great conclusion to the show. Looked really good. What do you think about Smart Guys? Because SummerSlam's this Sunday, so doing it next week might be the perfect time because we could recap SummerSlam and kind of jump into fresh, okay?
So, yeah, I texted him. What do I say? I'm talking about work. I guess that's my fault. It is. Not I guess. It is. I'm talking about, can we do a show? Can we do a show? At this point, he's so burnt out, he doesn't even want to talk to me anymore.
Saturdays is going to be one gameplay stream because Saturday's the day when I only do a half day of work so that I can go do stuff with Leanna. So, it is what it is. If he's ready to come back, great. If not, I don't know. So, I'll let you know.
Yes, this is an example of me pressuring him.
Phil will call, right?
Yep.
Because I basically expressed I'm having a tough time. And I said, please call me. So I'm thinking the next day is I'll get a call and we'll talk about things. What I would have told him was, hey man, I need maybe 2-3 months to get my stuff together, to get healthier and actually go to work and undo some damage, which is, again, I did by choice. I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
But instead, what happens, Howard, is I'm going about my business the next day. I get a text from the Air Raid Lord. And he says, sorry to hear about what happened. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I'm sorry to hear that you're leaving YouTube. I start getting other tweets from various people with similar sentiments.
Wow.
So I go, what the hell's going on here? So I go right to his channel, and I see that Phil did not actually call me. He instead made a video, a monetized video, by the way, where he publicly reads the text out loud.
All right, now the next thing that was a common question that people have been asking me for weeks, and I finally have a definitive update for you on this one, is in regards to John Rambo. As you know,
just gonna let it run. Just gonna let it roll. Let's get major progress before I say anything.
John Rambo and we had plans that we were going to start a new show once I moved to the state of Washington, where it would be like a coast-to-coast show where I talk about stuff on the West Coast, he talks about stuff on the East Coast, and we kind of, communicate once a week doing that. And everyone's been...
How cool would that show have been?
So I hadn't heard from him. And finally, last night, I'll be honest with you guys, I was feeling kind of, not frustrated, but almost worried that something had happened where he was pissed at me or something, that he wasn't responding to anything that I was sending him. And so I went ahead and I texted him again. I'm going to, I told you guys I'm the realest person on the internet. I got nothing to hide. I'm going to tell you exactly what we talked about.
Oh my God.
Text. And basically I said, here you go. I said, hey John, I hope you're doing well. Haven't heard from you recently. I'd like to catch up with you, off camera. Don't worry about any filming. I just want to hear how you're doing. We haven't talked in a while and it feels weird to me. I knew you had schnozhole going on, but when you didn't respond at all to my text last week, it felt like something may be wrong. Just let me know. No pressure. I want to know where we stand and that you're okay. And then John did respond this morning, and he said, hey, you're going to have to count me out for a while. I need to get my money together so that I can move to a better place. YouTube stuff isn't going to help me with that. I'm around most nights if you ever want to call. So I did respond to him, and I said, all right, in the next couple days, I'll try to squeeze in a time when I can call. I know there's a big time zone difference. But the bottom line is, it sounds to me like John is just not interested in doing anything on YouTube right now. And I'm gonna talk a little bit right now because I'm gonna be honest with everybody. I think that John does not get the credit that he deserves. And so at that time, John did a few things. He started a series called Games the Series, where he was just playing random games at a gaming store where he knew the employees there. And also with his other friends, off-camera friends who people didn't know. We're doing co-commentary with him. And then after a while, he decided he didn't want to do that he'd prefer to just do gameplay with me, and he went in his own direction on his channel, and he started doing things such as The Show, which is his weekly podcast with OJ, where for about 2 hours, the two of them shoot the shit. They talk about different topics. They do comedy skits. They have guests. They play music. They do all kinds of stuff. It's a 2-hour variety show that I'm very much a huge fan of. And it's funny because when the show started, we're talking some 2 to 3 years ago now, it was just a podcast, meaning there was no video. It was like just audio. You could listen to it as an audio show, and they would put up pictures and stuff that would go through, but it wasn't anything you needed to see. You could literally just listen to the show and be doing other stuff, and you missed nothing. Over the years, John Rambo's The Show has progressed so exponentially, like from being just a podcast to having all kinds of interactive art and things going on, to then having guests on the show, to then having video, and it became a Skype call podcast.
I feel like I'm doing a fucking another tribute, right? What the fuck am I doing here? I'm basically saying goodbye, John Rambo. Like, are you shocked that people contacted Rambo and said, "Hey, Rambo, you're never making content ever again. I'm sorry to hear you're leaving the internet." Like, what the fuck was I doing?
And the thing that pisses me off is if you consistently look at John's content over the past several years, the stuff that he puts out on YouTube, it's gotten exponentially better, and his views have gotten exponentially worse. When he started with the show, which was just an audio podcast, that thing was getting tens of thousands of views. Now he struggles to even get a couple thousand views on his podcast.
Why would I say this?
And right now, you go over there, and of course, was he expecting a ton of views? No. What I would say is it's a success in regards to the people that watched it, loved it. So if a couple thousand people watch it and love it, I guess, mission accomplished. But I know for a fact that's his heart, soul, money, and time that was invested in that thing. And he even knew, so much so, that it was, at this point, just for the artistic vision and not for the fact that he was going to get anything monetarily out of it. He didn't even monetize the final episode of Schnozman and Hole Punch. So he knew from the get-go that the series over 2 years had declined in viewership so much that it wasn't going to be getting anything significant. And he didn't even bother putting ads on it because he didn't want the artistic vision ruined by ads fucking popping up all over his work.
This is basically the nicest drag ever. I'm dragging him through dirt, mud, shit, feces, but I'm being nice about it. I'm still dragging him, though.
And that's very frustrating to me because, as you know, John was an integral part of my work. John is my friend. I loved having work and friendship involved because it really was a great thing. But I knew when I was making this move to Washington that it had to be done. It was going to be a massive positive. So far, there has been a massive positive. And if anything, the one major negative right now is that, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do stuff with John. From time to time, I'm going to give him a call. I'm going to try to give him a call in the next couple of days. Hopefully, we can catch up, find out what the heck's going on with him. And
this was the situation where I basically realized I just can't call a guy. I never had free time except nights, late nights, He'd be like, "Oh, just call me at night." I'm always streaming. Couldn't not be streaming because I had to pay the bills. I put myself in that situation. It's my fault. But even I say it in a video and then I didn't do it because I couldn't because I was stupid.
And as you guys know, for the past 2 months, on Saturdays, I'm just doing one gameplay streams. Should I just do that instead? So I would definitely like to hear your opinions on all that stuff. Whether it's on Twitter, @TheyCallMeDSP, whether it's in the comments of this video, please go ahead and submit me all that and let me know. I will mull it over. I'm not going to promise anyone Smart Guys is returning soon because I want to think about it for a while. And in particular, with this hardcore gaming season coming up, I may be so inundated with stuff anyway. Maybe this was the right time for this to happen. But I'd like to hear your opinion and feedback. Okay?
So I canceled it.
I want to talk about this. He'll often say, "I'm the realist. I'm the most, here's honestly this. Here's the truth of the matter." When people do that, they're usually doing it for a reason. It's usually because they're not telling the truth.
That's false. Okay.
If every time you spoke and you go, here's the honest truth of it. Let me be honest with you for a second. I'm the most honest. I'm the realist. That's a warning sign.
Yeah, big one.
Because why you feel the need to say that?
Because I'm joking half the time when I'm talking with you guys. I'm trying to make levity on my streams. I want you to know that I'm saying something that I feel is important or truthful at that point. I'm not being a dick or a jokester, teasing anyone or, making a dumb comment about a game. It's something important. That's why I do that, to break it up. It's not like in the middle of a conversation I would just say that.
Thanksgiving video, he talks about, I have no idea what I did wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. If you go to that video from August where he's reading my text, there's random people in the comments, man, and on Twitter and whatnot, that don't know Phil personally, don't know me personally. Well before there's a problem, that there's an obvious problem between us publicly. There's people that are saying, maybe you shouldn't read someone's text out loud like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's
amongst other comments like, you're a piece of shit, you ruined your own life and John Rambo's, a million other insulting things.
So that was pretty much it. That kind of broke the back right there, man, because again, you had to pull the stuff in the past, which many times saying things publicly that's saying things publicly about me that's not true, and then saying please don't do that. And here we go, like the biggest infraction of all, in my opinion. It's a big thing for me.
See you later, Mace. Mace was a longtime fan watching this all day. He has to go. We're in the home stretch. I'm done within less than like 20 minutes. We'll be done.
I mean, that trust, Because how do you really be friends with someone if you can't trust them? How do you tell them things? Part of a friendship is kind of like the intimacy of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You share things about your feelings or family or whatever. Hell, that's kind of, it's gone. It's gone right there, man. So I don't respond to it. I don't say anything publicly. My reaction is basically like, all right, he said he's going to call me. In that video, he actually says he's going to call me. Let's see if he calls.
Again, I could not call, and that's my fault. My lifestyle was wake up, record, broadcast, upload, record, broadcast. Oh, I have free time at 10 at night, which is 1 a.m. his time. So I can't call him. I texted, and he didn't like the texts. He wanted a personal call. I did not give him a personal call. I just texted, and he didn't like that and ignored my texts.
So, in the interim, I'm going to roll into this one. In the interim, in the middle of this, he starts sending text messages. First, he starts with John, starts sending John these text messages, like in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. So now, when you do the math...
This is 2015 now. This is much later, and again, this is why the timeline is skewed.
John starts getting text messages at 6 o'clock in the morning. That means it's like 2 o'clock in the morning there. So now, when you start reading them, you start looking at it, and it doesn't make any sense why he's even texting. And it's not even coherent. So you start wondering if the guy was, like, if he's been drinking and texting.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's really weird. So basically I called John up, and John goes, yeah, he's texting me. It's really weird, and he keeps texting me, and I'm not responding back, and and like when he texts, like he's sending these messages, like he does feel sorry on one end, but and then he says something that like later that contradicts it completely. So
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
No one. I haven't talked to this guy in like.
Is there someone telling him the wrong things? I don't know. Maybe there is.
I have.
Yes. All right, you ready for the explanation? And then behind the scenes, I'm drunk texting these guys. Shit. And I know they didn't believe me. I'm not stupid, but it was out of control. Okay. All right.
I haven't talked to this guy since he left. The day that he left, that was the last time I talked to him.
He got very defensive, almost like I was doing something wrong to him, when I really wasn't.
Yeah,
I did not wrong him by.
No, he wasn't doing anything wrong.
Here's the thing: he doesn't know anything about my house, who I live with. He has never been to my home. He's never expressed interest in doing that. He doesn't really know who's in my life or anything about the situation. And you guys saying things like that on a public stream. Yeah. Someone that's supposed to be your friend. So I contact him after this, immediately after, sent him a text message, because he wants to say that no one ever...
Yeah, the timeline is skewed.
It's basically like every interaction has to eventually do with videos and stuff, man. He talked about, the Thanksgiving video, he talks about, like, we were talking about shows and stuff. There'll be a message like, hey, you're watching Gotham. And I'll be like, yeah, it's pretty decent. and then it'll just immediately turn into, yeah, let's record this weekend.
See, and he felt that way, but that's not what was happening.
You saw what he did on Thanksgiving, so it was basically like an ultimatum kind of thing. Like, if you don't fucking talk to me, respond to me right now, then I'm gonna go publicly and try to fuck you, you know?
I mean, it wasn't trying to fuck you. It was again. He's right. It was basically like, you've been ghosting me for a year.
No,
like, by saying shit like whatever he said, the insults that he said in a public video.
Yeah, and
it's almost like he's always got to try to save face. I'm the winner. There's no winner in this situation, man.
No, and I didn't think there was going to be a winner. Again, they are off base here. There's no winner here. I wasn't trying to be, I'm the guy that is the winner here.
And personally, I'll be completely honest with you, John. I really think that he watches too much WWE. Because it feels like, no, I'm not lying, dude. It feels like, it really feels like he tries to make his channel like that, where it's full of drama. It's all drama, just to try to create controversy.
My channel is all drama. Has he ever even watched the fucking channel? I played video games constantly. The vlogging was the rare shit. He's acting like I'm Keemstar. Like, what is he talking about here? It doesn't even make any sense at all what he's saying. It's completely nonsensical stuff.
So that he can get more views.
Yeah, and we're feeding into it right now.
Create controversy to get views. Oh, that's me.
I got some text from him from last summer where he's basically like, let me know when you want to do Smart Guys so I'll start watching wrestling again. So what that says to me is, like, you're not really a fan of it. You don't really watch it. You will watch it if you could make a video about it, and you're going to make a video about it because you want to monetize a video.
So, at this point, when you get to this, you're at the end of it now, and you're like, so everything now is evil. I mean, everything I do is wrong. Everything's evil, right? There's no jokes anymore. Again, this is the well's been poisoned. So anything Phil does is the mindset. He's only in it for the money. He doesn't care about anyone but himself. Everything is evil. Everything is bad.
So, yeah, on the Thanksgiving video that he put out this year, he talks about how last year he was not invited on the Black Friday show that we did for 2014. Never mind the fact that OJ wasn't actually there either. Does that mean that, I hate OJ? It was actually just you and I, actually.
Yep.
And he also doesn't bring up the fact that last year on Thanksgiving, is when he decided to unfollow me on Twitter. Which again, like it's a day you're supposed to be with your family and friends and whatnot.
We've already addressed all of this, but in quick summary, every year he had me on his Thanksgiving show to talk about Black Friday deals.
So there's something out there where people will be like, people are saying John unfollowed Phil on YouTube, but the fact of the matter is I never actually followed him in the first place, so I didn't unfollow him. I also didn't follow OJ and Howard. I didn't follow any of you guys on YouTube, Mm-hmm. So I didn't actually follow him and then consciously unfollow him. That's like very fourth grade nonsense, which he has done. He doesn't follow. I still follow him on Twitter actually, because I'm not going to go through the trouble of unfollowing someone like him.
The trouble of following and unfollowing someone on Twitter. The fact that this has any bearing on anyone's life is preposterous to me. It's stupid.
He put out a montage of a co-op playthrough that we did, and put ads on there.
Hello again, everyone. Darkside Phil here, and welcome to the best and worst of DSP classics, where we turn back the clock and take another look at some of the most classic, old, funny, and weird playthroughs that I've done in my years on YouTube. The patrons have spoken, and this time we'll be checking out a little game called TV Superstars.
And it's pretty obvious that I don't want to do anything with you or be associated with you. And then just let me put out a video that's got John in it, so I could put ads on it.
Wow.
And why would you? Well, I can see why you would do it, but again, there's obviously some problems with the relationship. Why do you think that's a good idea?
Wow.
On top of other nonsense, man.
Wow. I mean, do I really have to address it? Should I address that? Is there a point? I mean, we already talked about all of our arrangements over the years. He got paid for that work at the time, very generously for it. Okay? There were never residual agreements. There never will be residual agreements. I can't even figure out residuals. To this day, I can't figure out residuals on that stuff. It's my content. I own it. I have the right to use that forever in perpetuity. I own the rights to the video. What is wrong with that? Well, it was monetized. So in John's eyes, anything monetized with him on it is bad. Patreon is bad. Anything bad. Anything is bad. Anything with money, bad. But again, we're getting into the video. This isn't about money, right? This video is not about money. He got paid for the videos. He received compensation. That was the agreement we had. There was no future agreements or anything about anything else in the future. How can you then say, how dare you ever use this content ever again in anything? Ever. Like, I have to erase any interaction I ever had with Rambo and Howard off the internet. No. It happened. It's all there. It's documented. It will stay there forever. I will make 2 pennies every year on all the content we did. Because like I said, the old videos don't get monetized. They don't get ads. They don't. I make almost nothing on the ancient videos. It's the new stuff that I constantly pump out that makes the ad revenue. I paid him for his work. What he wanted, by the way. Like, he thought it was too much at the time, as we've already discussed.
It's usually not how the real world works, man. Yeah, maybe you're out to some of that WWE thing.
Right. I think I'm a heel in real life.
Yeah, and I like I said,
that was my persona in Street Fighter, not in real life.
You can tell, even from the beginning, why, like, even from his name, like, the King of Hate.
This is like so bullshit. Howard knows what the King of Hate means. He was there during the entire time when I was the King of Hate in Street Fighter. He knew what it meant. He's completely lying to his audience at this point to try to make points that don't make any sense. He knows that the King of Hate is not that I'm a hateful person on people on the internet. He's being a jackass here.
Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. And that's what's going to end up happening. Anything that we talk about today, it's going to get misconstrued in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
There's no misconstruing what you guys
stuff
did.
to do, man.
Yeah,
I got fun things to do. Like,
oh yeah.
And then when you're off time, you don't spend your time shitting on other people. You don't spend your time being angry about things or feeling like the world owes you stuff. You spend your time
you want to talk about
doing something you might enjoy
huh?
with people that you enjoy being around.
So this is the big summary. This is the end of the video. This is how they end the video. Basically, this is the dump. This is pull the lever, dump it on him. This is full-on projection. This is who they feel I am as a person. Do they watch my content? Obviously not. If they did, they would know that's not what it was. But that's what they feel.
Yeah.
And it's very simple. You don't need millions of dollars, my friends. You don't need
the money.
All the views or
the views of the money. It's not what it's about.
It is.
Yeah. Last time, and like I said, I live by that. The last time I checked, YouTube doesn't sign my checks, so to me it doesn't really.
Would you really want? Okay. Would you really want them to? Would you want?
No,
them to be your deal?
I personally wouldn't because I can't deal with that. It's constantly having and like I said, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Mm-hmm. And I'll be completely honest with you. I'm very impressed at how successful he has gotten.
Oh, absolutely.
He's a very successful person for what he has done, in the past 5-6 years. And he was a pioneer in the beginning, I'm not going to say that he wasn't,
Absolutely.
But I think he's stuck in a rut. There's a lot of Let's Players, and it's hard to compete now unless you do things differently. And I think he's in a really bad spot, and that's why he's trying to reach out to us, but he doesn't know how to reach out. He does it in a negative way, and it really burns.
Too much damage has been done.
Too much damage has been done, and it continues and the damage continues because he doesn't know how to divert the damage.
Yeah,
he just adds to it.
But I do care about him, and I hope he does great things.
Yeah, I hope
he could. If he is in some sort of, I don't really know, honestly, if he's in a tough spot, emotionally or whatever.
Which I was.
Income-wise, I hope he can turn around. I think he can.
It wasn't about the income, it was about the emotion. Like I said, I was incredibly depressed.
This is the last time we're going to address this.
Okay,
I'm not going to continue doing this. He says one thing.
So, instead of making a monetized response video or trying to, post something on your forum, or maybe I won't see it or something like that, or trying to make profit off any of this, do what you said you were going to do back in August 2014. Give me an actual call. Give me the call that you promised that you were going to do.
Give both of us the call.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Give the call. I'll be happy to talk to you.
Give both of us the call. Why would I call Howard?
But if you want to shit on me, and if you know, people out there, if you guys want to shit on me, and say like your views are shit or whatever you want to say, man, my channel is me having fun with my friends. I don't put ads on my stuff because I don't have to. I don't ask the audience for anything except to hopefully have a good time and have a great time doing what I do. So please, again, tell me that I'm not successful. Okay? Tell me I'm not successful. Or you could just, do the usual thing and say you're a big-nosed piece of shit. But, that's true. That part is true.
You Jew-nosed bastard.
Whoa. Let's calm down, buddy. Is that the end of this thing, this atrocity?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Adios, everybody.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the end. That's